I wanted to clarify something. There was a YouTube video, which is mostly just the audio. I got disappointed. Someone came and had a conversation with me, and he wanted to put it online, and the video part, the component of the recording was lost, but the audio made it onto YouTube. And I think it's kind of funny because I think there was some physical comedy involved in my response. For example, the guy said he has a beis din of hedyotos, and I said, "Oh yeah, who are your other two hedyotos?" Okay, so and other things, mugging for the camera. So something was lost in moving it to YouTube. But there, I was put on the spot. I didn't get to actually show sources. I thought maybe we should take out the Gemaras and actually see it inside. And I want to explain a point I made. It's the Gemara in Ksubis Yud Aleph, where it talks about how it's a zchus for youngsters, children, to be converted to Judaism. That's why you could have the case. Yeah, I told you about this. Children converted to Judaism. Oh, you're familiar with the Gemara, okay? But for adults, it's not the case. The assumption of the Gemara there is that adults technically have already had a taste of Isser. And by the way, so they won't want to leave that ability. Like the fact is that if you adopt Judaism, suddenly a lot more that was permissible is in fact not permissible. And not only that, you're held accountable for many more things. Mitzvahs you did not do, and all the averos you did do. So for an adult human, it's not as a chus, according to Chazal, to be converted to Judaism. Now, that was a point I had with the fellow with whom I was arguing, so you could go hear it. And I maintain that it's a simple Chazal, and I think that I don't have anything to add to what Chazal said, and you should check the Mefarshim who explain that better. And I still maintain also that it's harder to be Jewish because of all the commandments. Even though Gentiles are technically punished with death for violating any of their prohibitions, and Jews are not, that's not the point. The fact is that Jews are held much more accountable. And the Rambam even says that. Okay? Rambam mentions this as one of the things that you have to tell Goyim. You know that you're much more responsible. God actually holds you more to account for your daily living if you become Jewish. And he also says that, by the way, we're persecuted. Okay, just to know, don't you know that Jews suffer persecution? And if you want to see irrational anti-Semitic persecution of Jews, just look around. Okay, it's becoming much more in fashion, like it was once again. I know, but you're not allowed to steal either. Just because, hold on a second, just because you're put to death in this world doesn't mean it's as serious. A Jew has a lot more riding on what he does. He just has to get. Do you understand the severity of doing an avera? Just because doing avera, oh, good. Some people actually make that calculus. They say it's easy. The remedy for this avera is so I'll do the avera. Some people actually have that calculus. That is such a war. That's such a bad calculus. I don't know where to begin. Yeah, no, yeah, and you should think about this. Yeah. Mechashev means if you only realize, that's telling you, if you only realized how bad it was to do the avera, despite what you think is the remedy, you would run away from it. That's why Jews have this concept of shgaga. This thing we're going to get to, God willing, when we get to this in the Rambam. A Gentile who is shogeg in any way in avera is patur. But a Jew is shogeg in many ways doing averas. What does he have to do? Yeah, he has to bring a korban chatos. That's supposed to tell him that he does not get off the hook until he brings that korban. A goy should definitely repent, but the goy does not have, let's say, this account in heaven that, he died without the proper kapara in this world. Okay, so you can't think like, I'll have to bring a chatas, I'll get lashed. Okay, the Jews like, I'll eat the pork sandwich ham sandwich, because the remedy is they'll lash me, or there's no witnesses, so I can't get lashed. Okay, no witnesses, no one warned me. I managed to gobble down the ham before Inca did so. So yeah, and that's not an Isser Kares, right? There are some people who make such a calculation, and they're fools. So this is not a philosophy class. Maybe it should be, but you have to understand it's not good for Jews to. I mean, it's not as a close for us as adults to have this hanging over our heads. Yes, there is the connection to God and Olam Haba. And if a Gentile really is convinced of the truth and wants to serve God, as did Abraham, then he's a candidate for conversion. He's considered on the highest level. But only those Gentiles who are actually qualified to do so. I don't think that even if you have a Gentile who's very interested, firmly believes in God, and wants to be a solid citizen, and Ben Noach, I still believe that that's the best path for him. And that's what I've been taught, by the way. That's not my personal opinion. That's what I've seemed to have gotten from everybody whose opinion matters until this point. As far as I know, the Gentiles have no such commandment to convert to Judaism. They have their commandments. They have no commandment to convert to Judaism. Yes, they're not supposed to worship idols. That's a far cry from becoming Jewish.